Hey everybody, back today with a new drawing, and this time I'm going to try to do an entire, like a full person, and I'll teach you some of the techniques I use to get away with not having to do hands and feet sometimes when you're not really feeling like trying to draw hands or pose somebody. Sometimes it's nice to get away with not having to draw hands or feet. So I'm going to start very similar to yesterday, and like I said, this is usually how I start my creatures, my people, my characters, and it's usually with the eyes. So I'm going to start similar to yesterday. Again, I have a couple different ways that I draw eyes and stuff. Move this light a little bit. I think that's probably a little bit better. So yeah, I'm going to do eyes similar to yesterday. Just start with a couple of circles. I guess this person's eyes are going to be a little bit bigger than yesterday. And the way that I'm doing this, I'm going to do this other technique I like to do, which is kind of basically just make a really bold eye line here. Excuse me. And then from there, I just sort of try to make these like circles. And the further out that I go this way, the lighter I like to have it. And again, like yesterday's technique where you sort of lift off and just kind of touch in certain spots. Just kind of doing that because I don't want the very outer layer to have, I want them to have gaps. So then I'll start back in here and just start with circles, and then just sort of get lighter and further away as we go out. And that's okay there. I'm going to try to darken it up a little bit towards the center, so I'm just going back over with these circles, and then I'll try to really get dark here. And again, I'm just sort of pressing a little bit harder on the pen. And there you go, you have this. This is like an eye that I would normally draw. So let's do the other eye. Just trying to get a feel for how big it is. And then I just commit. That's a big part of drawing, is just committing to the line. And in yesterday's, I kind of did that sketchy thing where you go over it a couple times and it ends up, let me see if I can find yesterday's drawing. Yeah, it's over here. And you can see there's a lot of places up in the head here where I have like these like little hesitation marks, basically. Same here. And I don't normally do that. It's more of something you do when you're starting out and you are unsure of yourself and your drawing skills. But the big thing for me in drawing now is just committing to the line. I do it here more as an effect than I do as an I don't trust my line. So again, I'm just going to kind of make this eye part here very bold. And then again, just get sort of a feel for these circles. And you can go either direction because they're kind of supposed to look complete. You're not yesterday that I was just doing lines and they didn't do a full circle. This looks a little funny, so I'm just gonna try to darken this part a little bit, make the transition a little bit smoother, so it's not so basically pitch black and then too light. And honestly, usually I like to keep the insides pretty clean. There's like a little goop here, so I'll kind of finesse the line a little bit because I kind of like the insides of the eyes to be perfectly white. And so I'll just sculpt the eyeball here. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So there we go. We got the sort of the start of this this creation here. I'm just trying to get a sense of where the camera is. Okay, so now that I got this done, again, I usually, oh, this person's going to be really big. I'm not going to be able to do a full body. I'll figure something out. And again, this is sort of to just let it be known that people can draw that aren't like, you know, they don't consider themselves artists. They didn't have any training. They don't practice. They just kind of, I mean, I practice, but I'm just kind of doodling here. And you don't need any specialized equipment. Again, it's just like a regular ballpoint pen and a piece of computer paper. So yeah, and I just kind of figure things out as I go. Sometimes I have full visions of what I want the thing to look like, but for the most part, it's just kind of, I just kind of wing it almost all the time. So let's keep going here. I'm going to go to the nose, which is usually my next bit that I do. I'm going to try to make this one a little bit wider than yesterday's nose, but sort of shallow. And then this part's always, I just emphasize the nostril, sort of. And I actually kind of like that. Looks like it's going to be sort of like a goblin-y kind of creature. Just do these highlights, just to give the indication of where the nose is without having to draw the whole nose. Just trying to shade it in here a little bit. Pen's giving me a little bit of trouble. So, yeah, that'll work. Philtrum, like I said, I always kind of like to do that next. And again, avoiding tangents. You don't want to start the philtrum here, where it basically meets another line. I gave myself a very wide nose here, this part of the nose, so that pretty much the philtrum anywhere will be fine. And again, to avoid tangents on the lips, I'm not going to do the V thing like I normally do to create the dip. I'm actually going to just sort of come up with this curve on both sides. I mean, there's still a V there, but the lips are ending right here and then going down at the angle. I'm actually going past this line, philtrum line, and again, that'll help you avoid tangents. And then again, just kind of do this pronounced M shape, both sides. Try to be as symmetrical as you can, but honestly, I don't really worry about that stuff. Symmetry, and I think asymmetry makes her a more compelling sort of creature. So I'm going to move my paper in a little bit. Again, and I'm breezing through a lot of this stuff because I got into a lot of detail yesterday with how to do these, and I don't want to be that detailed with all of them. I just kind of want to be able to do like a 10-15 minute quick video of a new creature. And so again, we taper to here. You can go from either side, whatever you're comfortable with, because you know, usually right-handed people are better at doing left sides of faces and less, I think, because you're more cramped in here, and over here you have much more freedom. Even though you can do that, you typically won't move your hand. You won't move your hand position. You'll just sort of tighten it in. And again, I have that different grip. I hold my pen like this as opposed to most people hold it like that. It's just what's comfortable for me. So here's basically the mouth gap. I turn it, I'm turning it sideways a little bit just so it helps me. I'm going to do kind of a thin lower lip. Just a little dip here. Kind of looks like a beak. Kind of has like a bird-like feature face. So that's kind of cool. I feel like I was off the paper on that one, so I'll try to bring them back in. And if any of that was off, I apologize. And then lip lines. Don't want to make them all the same length or width either. And then you can kind of go back in and sort of do thinner ones, less bold. And then this, again, the top lip, I just kind of, it almost looks like hair, like I'm making a mustache, but I'm not, it's just a lip. That's just how I like to do lips. Okay, so I'm going to come actually back in here and bolden up the mouth gap. So it looks like the mouth is open a little bit. So thinner here and then thicker here. So it starts out real thin, almost the same width that it was, and then sort of just mirror the shape, and you get a little bit of a thicker thing going on there. I guess this is really like the center of the page. I feel like I was off a lot, so I may have to redo this. I don't know, but here's my mark now. And just do these lines. Again, coming off of the end of the nose. This one's okay to be a tangent because that's where your nose crease really is going to be. It's going to start right where your nose meets your face, and if you have some sort of facial expression going on, that's where the line's going to sort of be. Shade this in just a little bit. Shade this in just a little bit. We're going to go to the chin. Sometimes I'll create a chin and then make a face around it. That's what I'm doing this time. A little line here. And so the face is going to have to, be pretty far out here, and then come in pretty tight to meet this chin, which is fine. I'm going to start again with the ears, come down from the top of the eye just a tiny little bit, and then try to figure out where you'd like that ear to be. I'll do the same on the other side, trying to match the distance. Good enough for me. Now I'm going to do what I call like the peanut eye, which is basically if you took like a letter or a number 8 and you cut it in half, where it's sort of symmetrical on both sides, or I guess on this side it's basically like you're drawing the number 3, and then on the other side it's a reverse number 3. I like these like symmetrical peanut ears. I think they look cool. And then this one I'm going to do a simpler ear. I'm just going to put that, and I forgot to look up the name of it, the helix or whatever it's called, and then just kind of make a bigger pronounced sort of heart shape. Again, this little thing and then the heart shape, and then just black that all in. And that's your ear. I'm not going to worry about the rest of it. Now I'm pretty much just going to connect the end of the chin up to the ear. I'm going to start this one from the ear and then come down. So you got a bit of a pointy face. So up top, I kind of want to do this like shell shape that I like to do. So I'm going to do that. Come out very big, wide, and then I'm pretty much just going to take it up top. And it's going to be a little bit flatter than like a head normally would be. I mean, no one's head is really this shape. Some people probably have that, but most typical heads do not look like this. So that's that. I'm going to do no eyebrows on this one. And that's pretty much it for the head. I'm not going to do, I guess I can do these like grumpy sort of anger eye lines. And then sort of transfer that into sort of these wrinkle eye lines, and just trying to follow that up as if it was gonna, and then just sort of again sort of mirror it with that technique I told you about earlier or yesterday with the sort of lifting on certain parts and not on other parts. And then I'm not connecting them, but the further up I get, I'm gonna actually make the line go the whole way across, and you just look like you have an old wrinkly forehead. Nothing too crazy. And then time for the neck, which I'm just going to kind of pick a place that wouldn't be tangenty. This would be a tangent here. Obviously starting like right here would be a tangent. I don't really want to start here either, because then that makes this whole section too busy. So I'm actually going to make a really thin neck and just kind of do it like this, and just flare it out a little bit, and then make almost like the philtrum. You're just going to kind of make that same shape where you come in here, come in here, and then I'm going to make this shape. And a lot of the things I'm doing too, I'm doing these sketchy shapes so that you can sort of see how I'm doing it without just me saying like, oh, make a line from here to here, you know, and then doing it and you being confused on like, well, how am I supposed to get from there to there? So I'm trying to make it a little bit easier for you. And now I've got the neck done. I like to do this sort of, how do I want to do it? I'm gonna do just like a guy in a t-shirt for right now. So again, to avoid a tangent, I'm going to come up on the neck a little bit, reference dot, and then I'm basically going to mirror the shape of the neckline here that I did to make the t-shirt collar. Basically like that, and then again these just tiny little lines because it's that, you know, t-shirt neck material. Alright, cool. Now I'm going to just give him some, I don't want him to be real wide because his head's wide, so I want to make his body really skinny. So I'm just going to give him these tiny, and this one you can kind of use a tangent because that's where the shoulder of the shirt is going to sort of come from, the back here. Just giving these small shoulders. Again, small body, so I kind of want his body to be thinner than his neck, which is weird looking, but that's why it would be kind of funny. It's about the same width of his neck, which is fine. Come down, given this sort of edge of his t-shirt. You'll see where I'm going with it in a sec. And then just connect the bottom of the t-shirt. Nothing fancy. And then I like to make the sleeves real skinny, so I'm just going to kind of come in like this. Do the same thing on the other side. And then I kind of want to make, I kind of want to make the armpit right here. So I'm just going to bring the t-shirt up to that point and then extend beyond that reference dot, and you'll see why in a minute. And then basically I'm going to bring the t-shirt arm up, but I'm going to bring it up before this line here. Something else, I'm going to extend this a little bit and then bring the t-shirt arm up before this line, because this is going to be your like armpit fold. I'm just going to give him another one. This isn't a real great example, but again, I kind of like my characters to be a little strange. Now I'm going to teach you a way to get away with not having to drop hands. And that's basically to have his arms go behind his back. So you're basically just going to make a quick line like that. And that's it, really. Coming out from the t-shirt. I don't like to, again, avoid a tangent here. So you don't want to come out from there, and I don't want to have his arm coming from there. So instead of coming from here, I'm going to start his arm here. Just give him a little bicep. And then, again, I don't want to come from here. I want to move up the arm a little bit and then taper it in toward the other arm so that it looks like, you know, it's going from his elbow, forearm area into his wrist. And so I'll do the same thing on the other side. Come down a little bit. And again, I didn't start the line here. I started it in a little bit. So then again, do the same thing. Give him a little bicep. And then taper. You kind of want the wrist to be here and then the bicep to be here, so then everything looks a little bit, you know, like his hands are going behind his back, really. I don't really feel like doing legs today, so I'm going to do this sort of snake body. You can do I like to like sort of morph people into other things, and that's one of the things I do is I like to anthropomorphize these creatures a lot of the time. So I'm just going to create this basically, like, I call it like a curtain, but it's basically like, it's almost like a skirt. And then that's where his body is going to go back. And then it's just going to kind of snake around, but we'll get to that in a second. So you kind of want to do the bottom part of his body. So if there's going to be a crease right about here. So then, again, to avoid a tangent, come in a little bit, come down. You don't want to meet this in the corner. So his body's coming in. I did that backwards. The crease should go this way. Alright, so we're going to scratch that. Okay, so pretend that's not there. Bring the body in, and then the tail part's going to come back a little bit. See, I'm not even really that good with this stuff either, to be honest with you. And then I'm going to have this come over this, so you'll see in a second. So come that over this, and then this come over that. And this is kind of the thing I do when I do the worms, and then I'm just gonna have this trail back, and then I'll have this meet that back there. So that's my little weird coiled snake body, and I'm sure it's not anatomically correct, but I don't really care. And that's it. I mean, you can try to add more stuff. I'm not real good with that. Like if you wanted to add like a more cobra looking, you know, belly with the belly lines like that. Again, I'm gonna get lost here somewhere in trying to make it look correct and it be just totally incorrect, you know, something like that. I don't know. Again, I'm not real good with that kind of stuff, but he looks cool, so it doesn't really matter. He has this ribbony, like electric eel looking skin stuff going on. And that's, I mean, you can add a little more detail here. Again, I'll darken in his neck and then just kind of slowly taper that out. Get a little bit darker as I go back up toward the neck. Give him a little neck shadow. That's pretty much it. I'm not going to fill his eyes in. I think they look pretty cool like that. And again, it's just like a little drawing. And the more times you do these things, you get better at them. And you come up with ideas that you like. I think you've probably seen, I like to do these like shell kind of like heads. I don't know why, I just think they look cool to me. And then, yeah, exaggerated features, really tiny arms, and then give him a sort of snake-like body. But yeah, these are just fun little things, and just to help you get started with doing these and help exercise that part of your brain where you get more comfortable with doodling, so that at some point you can just, again, in like 20-30 minutes, just bang one of these little guys out, and then, you know, you can give them a name and a little personality or whatever. Do my little thing in the corner there. Yeah, but again, once you get used to doing this, I mean, this isn't something I would ever sell, but this is just sort of practice for me. But, you know, at some point you can compose your character and, you know, do something in the background here. But yeah, here's what this one today was kind of an exercise on how to like hide hands, so you don't actually have to try to draw hands. Same with feet. This is another way to get away with not drawing feet. Another way to do that, I'll draw real quick in the bottom here. I'll do it on the back. Is, you know, let's say this is the bottom of the pants, right? And the legs come down. I'll just stop them there and then just do this squiggly line across. And then it looks like his feet are in some sort of like quicksand or whatever, you know, or in the water maybe, so that I don't actually have to finish drawing feet. And that's, I mean, that's something that a lot of artists struggle with, is anatomical feet and hands. So that's sort of ways to get away with it for now. At some point, you really do want to draw hands. Hand studies are really fun, I think, because you just, I mean, I usually just will look at my hand and I'll pose it in a way like this and then just try to draw it, you know. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this one. There's going to be some more like this. I'll probably get, I mean, this one seems like I didn't do a real good job with where the camera was, because I had to set it up in a different way today, because I was trying to make sure that you could actually see the pen and what I'm doing, that you're not always just my hands obfuscating what's happening. So then it's like magic happens and then I reveal, oh look, he just drew an eyeball. I want you to actually be able to see like how I'm doing it and that kind of stuff. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. I'll probably be doing more of these. I might even do one later. They're kind of fun. Actually, I think later today I'll do a study on different eyeballs, different noses, mouths, that kind of thing, hair textures that I use in a lot of my creatures so that you can kind of cobble them together. Because that's kind of what I do really, is I just sort of mix and match. I come up with like several different types of eyes and noses and stuff, and then I just cobble them together in different combinations, and no one can tell the difference. No, I'm just kidding. I think everyone knows. But yeah, that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's nice here. It's pretty sunny outside, and it's cool. It's in the high 40s. So yeah, have a good day. Enjoy, and show me your creatures if you got them. I love to see them. So take it easy.